Now we're going to look at the flex points and how you can gain or lose flex points. So in your app, we have this flex point section, and this summarizes your flex points. Now, of course, remember, when you begin, before the RPG starts, you do have some flex points usually. You chose how many when you spent your points, when you rolled your dice. So for example, in this case, we have 1 flex point. So that means before this group began, they spent their dice roll points and they distributed them to these different things such as resistance, such as quality, such as delivery speed. And for flex, they chose 1. Okay, that's all right. There's no rule about how many it should be or how many it shouldn't be when you begin. However, the goal is, of course, to try to get flex points up because it will influence your final grade or your final score in the RPG. Okay, let's go ahead and look at how we can make more or lose flex points. The easiest way to make flex points, or to lose flex points actually, is to have a gap between your quality and your delivery. Now, what does a gap mean? Well, we need to look back at how we began the RPG. Remember, we have our resistance, we have our quality, we have our delivery. So in this case, for flex points, we are just going to focus on the 2 attributes of delivery and quality. Now the price we're going to talk about later. That's a separate situation. But for now, for the flex points, the way you're going to gain or lose is based on delivery and quality. Now remember, we have 3 delivery speeds, which are slow, medium, fast. And we have 3 quality levels, which is low, medium, and high. Now the thing we need to remember here, be very careful, is are you a buyer or are you a seller? Because buyers and sellers are going to be different. In fact, they're going to be opposite, 180 degrees the other way. Let me remind you quickly, what's the difference between the buyer and the seller when it comes to these 2 attributes of delivery quality, delivery speed, and delivery quality? If you're a buyer, what would you like for the price? Of course, you would like the price to be lower. If you're a buyer, what would you like for the delivery speed? Of course, you would like faster delivery speed. Okay. So this is the key to remember. That's opposite of the seller, right? A seller would want to have a higher price and a slower delivery speed so they can save money. That's very basic. Buyers and sellers are going to be opposite. Now, in this RPG, it is not the case that when a buyer makes some profit, the seller loses money. No, that's not true. It can be true, it might be true. Usually it's true related to the price, but it's not true related to quality and delivery. That's not true. So how do we judge quality and delivery? Well, the most important thing we can do is right here. You need to look at what your group's key attribute value is. So if your attribute value for quality is, for example, low, that means if you're a buyer and you buy anything better than low, maybe medium quality, maybe high quality, then that is a win. And that is a win. You're winning. You're getting something more than what you had to get. Okay, so let me repeat. If I'm the buyer and my quality attribute here is low, that means that my company has told me I have to get at least low. But if I can get medium, that's better. And if I can get high, that's even better. That's what my company told me. That's what this number here means. What about delivery? Well, here we can see the delivery is slow. Because I'm the buyer, if I can get a faster delivery, that would be good for me. Especially if I can get it and I don't pay more. So the company has told me that I need to get at least slow. But if I can get medium or if I can get fast, then both of those I'm going to be winning something. I'm going to be going beyond my company's requirement, which is good. Let's jump over and take a look at a seller's case. So let's look at a seller here. Okay, so let me do the same thing, only now let's think about the seller. So here we have a seller, and we're going to look at the quality. So the seller for this quality is 3, high. So I'm selling the product, I'm selling it, and I can make high, but it would be better for me to save money and make it medium or to make it low quality, because low quality would be cheaper for me to make. And so if I can make medium quality or low quality, then I'm going to win something. I'm doing better than what I'm required to do. I'm required to do the minimum, right? But I can try to get something else. So in the seller's case, that minimum maximum is kind of opposite of the buyer's case. All right, confused? Let me try again here with the delivery speed. At my company, we have average delivery speed. That means that's what we can do. If we can deliver at slow delivery speed, we save money. So this is good. But if we have to deliver at high delivery speed, that's going to cost us money. That's not good. If we can deliver at average delivery speed, well, that's okay. That's what we can do. That's our normal. But we save money by going slow, and we spend money by going high, because my company is set here at average. Does that make sense? Think about it a little bit, and be careful when you play the RPG, because people often get this confused, especially the difference between the buyer and the seller. All right, so how does this affect your points? Well, the first and most important effect is on your flex points. So your flex points, you gain points or you lose points by doing what I just said. So if you are, in this case, we are a buyer. So if I'm a buyer and I can buy at a better quality and at a faster speed, that's good for me. But what do we mean when we say better or faster? What do we mean? We mean this number right up here. These are the numbers that matter. So if my quality is low, and if I can get medium, I'm going to gain a flex point. If I can get high, I can gain 2 flex points. The same is true for my delivery speed. Because my company requires me to have at least slow. But if I can get medium, I can gain 1 point. If I can get fast, I can gain 2 points. Quality is the same. If I can get medium, I can gain a point. If I can get high, I'll gain 2 points. So when you make a deal, the deals show up down here. So each deal has a deal ID. And we can see the ID here. How many units? 200. And this gap is the gap between my company's requirement and what the deal resulted in. So here, the gap is 1. Why is it 1? Because this deal must be giving me the medium quality, because my requirement is low quality. But if I get higher, that's better for me. And what about delivery? I'm gaining 1. Why? Because my delivery speed requirement was slow, but I was able to get medium. And then here you can see the total points you get are 4. Why 4? Because it's per 100 units. So this is 200 units. So everything here will be times 2. So we get 4 extra points. So in this way, we gain flex points. Why do we want to gain flex points? We want to gain flex points because as these points get bigger, it's going to increase our score very quickly. Okay, let's take a look on our app here, and you can see this instruction. So you can see going higher gains flex points, 1 point per 100 units. Going lower spends flex points, 1 point per 100 units. And remember, you can cancel a deal, but the deal, if you cancel, may cost something depending on the situation, right? A little bit complicated. Okay, let's look at the seller's case here. So we have the seller, and here we had the seller was quality high, and we have the delivery speed average. We come down to the flex point area, and we can see here we have a deal number, and we have some units, and we have 0, 0. What does that mean? That means that the deal we made matched exactly what our requirements were, our minimum requirements, so we didn't gain anything. And here we didn't gain anything. Over here we gained something because here the quality gap. So we were able to sell the product for 1 level lower quality than our attribute number. And so we gain 1, and it's per 100, so we get 2.25 flex points. So let me come up here again. Seller, right? So if you're the seller, it would be very good if you could have high quality here. Why? Because then you can try to sell for medium or you can try to sell for low and you will gain flex points. It would also be good if you were the seller that your delivery speed is high. Why do you want to be high? Because if you can sell for medium, you'll gain a point. And if you can sell for slow delivery, you'll gain 2 points. So this is very important to remember when you roll the dice, because when you roll the dice, that's when you set up, you decide these points. And buyer and seller are totally opposite. So please remember, check it out carefully. Are you a seller or are you a buyer? Okay, so that's the easy way to gain or lose flex points. We can look at many examples here. Here's many deals for this group, and this group has a total of, they've gained 91 flex points. Now there's other ways to gain flex points, but this is the most easy, clear way. And you can see here that they're often gaining 1 point, 111, on the delivery gap. And they're often gaining 1 on the quality gap, sometimes 2. So how can they do that? That's because they are a seller. And you can see that what they've done is they've chosen to have fast delivery. They spent the points and high quality. So that allows them to go down and then make points, and then go down and make points. But if you're a seller, and you can only produce low quality, that's the only thing you can do. It's going to be hard for you to find buyers because the buyers may require higher quality. And if you produce higher quality, it's going to cost you more money. It's going to be harder. So you're going to lose flex points. So you can see groups often try not to lose flex points. They try to gain flex points, as in this example here. Lots of flex points being gained. Okay, next we're going to look at another way to gain some points.